I've done that for a really long time. And I do it not through counseling or therapy. I do it by helping you understand how your body works so you can take back the control. Even if you've had a lot of trauma over the years, or you had childhood trauma, and even if you don't recognize or remember that you had trauma, these things can still control you. And they'll end up putting you in relationships that bring out the bully in other people and keep you trapped and miserable and suffering. I hope you break out of that. So today we're talking about how you can take heart, because a narcissist's relationships will rarely, if ever, work out. You know, one of the biggest problems with being with a narcissist is they get you to believe that all the problems in the relationships are because of you. They're angry because of you. They keyed your car because of you. They showed you pictures of their other girlfriends because of you. They've threatened to leave over and over and over and abandon you, even though you depend upon them. This is what a narcissist does. Their pattern is that on the one hand, they really want a relationship with someone, but on the other hand, they need to feel in control of it. And the only way they can feel in control is by being controlling. They're not able to let down their guard. They're not able to let people in. And because they can't, what happens is it ends up in a very off-balance relationship. So if you are a relatively healthy, nice, empathic woman who's in a relationship with someone who has high narcissistic tendencies, then you aren't the first one. They've been dealing with this and doing this for a very long time. So many times, even if you met them when you were 15 or 16, you aren't the only person who's been having these relationships with them. These toxic relationships have been going on most of their life, whether it was under the surface, whether it was hidden, because you know how narcissistic relationships are hidden. They're hidden behind a face of generosity and kindness and support and interest in feminine topics and all of this really great stuff. And that stuff really is kind of true. You know, many narcissists do have a sensitive heart. They do think about other people at times. But the thing is that the majority of their time is spent thinking about themselves, thinking about how they're feeling, what they want, how they're going to get what they want. They have a very difficult time letting down that guard sincerely and having a meaningful, intimate relationship. And most empaths, which they're attracted to, can only take so much, even though they tend to take more than others. Healthy people, like really healthy people, narcissists aren't interested in them because they aren't nice enough. They're not going to let them get away with it. They don't set boundaries. They think that the best way to get along is to be nice and to take care of other people. These are things you might have learned when you were a kid. And this is exactly what a narcissist is looking for, which is why most narcissist empathic relationships don't work out. Because it's a situation set for disaster. It's a situation set for destruction. Because this is a pattern that's been going on for a very long time in the world. Now, you do get to get out of that pattern, because the pattern only exists because you behave in a way that that tells them that they have the control, that you can let them manipulate your emotions, you can let them manipulate your actions, and that you'll do almost anything to keep them from following through on whatever it is they're threatening. And I know the threats can be pretty big. And sometimes they aren't threats. Many times their threats actually turn into actions which happen. And this is just part of the pattern. When you start to realize that you have power over how you feel, and it's not just a mental game, it's not just an emotional game, it's an actual realizing, oh, when I do this, I feel better. When I do these things, my trauma doesn't overwhelm me. And there's a lot of tools out there for trauma healing that actually get that stuff off your system. You know, because when you've had a difficult experience, and empaths typically do, a traumatic experience is something that you felt helpless, you didn't see happening, and you didn't have an opportunity to process through it. And because empaths are so dialed in and tuned into what's going on, they're very sensitive. And it's easy for them to be overwhelmed by emotions. It's easy for them to feel blindsided and manipulated, whereas other people, they don't even notice it because they're so absorbed in their own reality. So take heart. Almost all narcissist relationships don't work out because it's just not a good dynamic. It's just not, it's not a pattern that's healthy for anybody. Now, how do you get out of this? Because you're not in a toxic relationship, or you're not being emotionally abused because you're empathic. You know, I don't want you to shut down your feelings. I don't want you to shut off your emotions. I don't want you to stop feeling and become numb, which is what a narcissist forces you to do. You know, they emotionally and verbally attack you over and over and over and over until you just don't feel anymore. And the problem is that you haven't realized that because you have the desire to heal and fix and make things better, or maybe you were taught when you were a kid that good women are women that take it, or that, oh, it's a woman's responsibility in order to make sure that everything goes smoothly in the household, or make sure that the dad or the husband or the man in the relationship is happy and feels fulfilled. You know, we live in a culture that tells empathic women that it's their job to make sure that men are happy. And that therein is the lie. You aren't responsible for anyone else's happiness except your own. And part of the problem is that we were taught that we were. We were taught that it's our responsibility and it's our fault if people aren't in a good mood, if people aren't happy. And the kicker is, as empaths, we want people to feel happy because we feel what they're feeling. We don't want to be around angry, painful, hurt, frustrated, aggressive sorts of people. No empath wants to be around that. You don't want to live that way. But because maybe you were brought up in an environment where you thought, yeah, this is the way that life is and it doesn't get to change. This is just the way that it works. You may stay. Or because you have a lot riding on the line, kids or a long-term relationship, 30, 40 years, or maybe no stability or financial backing, what'll happen is that you end up staying. But you know what? You don't have to keep feeling manipulated by a narcissist, even if you stay in the relationship, because it's not about learning how to make someone else happy. And Heather and Kitty are making some great comments on this. Thank you. Yes, Heather says a narcissist will never be happy. And Kitty's right behind us. Yes, drinking. He loves his beer. You know, these are typical of people who are self-absorbed. And actually, most alcoholics, they're alcoholics because they are self-absorbed. Because it doesn't matter to them when they're feeling sorry for themselves or upset or hurt, how these things affect other people. They aren't empaths. They may have sensitivity to what's going on, which is why they're able to control it, but they aren't empaths. So they really don't care about how all of this craziness affects you. So if things aren't working out, if you're frustrated, angry, hurt, upset because a narcissist is behaving badly, it's not because of you. And if you stay, he's going to keep doing it. And if you leave, he's going to do it to somebody else. And if you leave and you keep the contact, he's going to keep doing it to you. What needs to change is not the narcissist. What needs to change is you realizing what your rights are. You realizing what you deserve. You realizing that it doesn't have to be this way. Even if they're able to push your buttons over and over and over and over and over. When you start to understand how they're able to push your buttons and how to take that power back inside your own body, what you need to do in order to feel stable and structured and calm and have a good relationship, when you start learning those skills and putting them into your life, things do change. It means you start standing up to him. It means that you start standing up for yourself. It means that you stop getting triggered and overwhelmed by your own feelings of being hurt and manipulated over and over and over and over and over. Yes, you know, Heather says drinking helps him ease the crazy in his mind. You know what it also does? It makes the crazy worse because it gives them even less control over their head. You know, when a narcissist feels off balance. And when they drink, what it does is it makes them feel even more off balance because it numbs their ability to control how they feel. So drinking makes them feel better temporarily, but you know who suffers? That would be you. And so drinking is a terrible, terrible way for them to deal with the crazy in their head. They need to start learning the same things that you're learning, which is how to regulate your nervous system, how to take responsibility and control over your own emotions so that you don't have to rely on anyone else or be controlled by anyone else about how you feel. And when they try to, you get to stand up for yourself. You get to set lines. You get to decide that your time and your emotions and your energy are valuable and important. That's the shift that happens. They lied to you when you were a kid. They lied to you in our society and community that the world's going to be a better place if women just suck it up and let themselves keep getting beat up. And that's not true. And you know it's not true. And it's not, you aren't the only one that's going through this. Hundreds of thousands of women right today, right now, millions of women right now are dealing with the same thing that you are. Because it's about two people who don't know how to deal with how they feel, and one person deals with it by controlling someone else and trying to control the relationship, and the other one deals with it by trying to protect themselves and stay safe when they're being manipulated and abused and verbally shot down over and over. So that's a recipe for disaster, and you have the ability to change way more than a narcissist does. You don't want to change for them, you want to change for you because you're sick and tired of being treated the way that you've been treated. And if they want to come along on a healthier path, they're welcome to. As they get older, many narcissists start to mellow, see things in a different light. They start to realize what's important to them. Their old childhood issues aren't so important. And they realize that family matters. This does happen. Are you willing to wait? Are you willing to see? So if you stay, it's a gamble. Will they evolve if you evolve? Or if you're sick and tired of it, you get to go. And you get to find someone who is more evolved. Someone who is less threatening, who does have a better handle on their emotions and on dealing with stress and complexity, even if it's been 30 or 40 years. You deserve to finally have a life that you enjoy. You deserve to have a life that isn't filled with drama every moment, because even if they're not there, you know you're walking on eggshells. You know you're always worried for when it's going to blow up. That's not the way you're supposed to be living. So I'm telling you, that's not the way you're supposed to be living. And whether you stay or go, you need to start learning that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And that a narcissist will not treat you that way unless you demand it or unless you leave. And even then, try to treat you with disrespect, but you have the choice to not let it happen anymore. And that's what we'll teach you. So if you want to get some help with this, reach out, inspiremassage.com, soon to be ritahickmancoaching.com, and find out the things that I do. You know, we've got great women that I work with, and we do groups where we can all talk together. We do one-on-one coaching where you can sort things out. You get tools that you need and the support that you need. And it doesn't have to last for forever. It's not like you're going to be in therapy for the next 10 years. This is something where the changes start to happen pretty quick when you realize that it's just been a crazy making scenario. So if you're ready, check out my website, see what we do, reach out. I'll hop on a call with you. We'll have a chat. And if you need to reach out to me a few times, please do. Sometimes I have a hard time juggling all my balls. So I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great Friday and a great weekend. And I'm looking forward to mine. And I'll talk to you later.